It says we're live. So, good morning, everybody. If this doesn't pop up on the screen, I'll say it again. There's a little bit of a delay and it's hard to figure out. There it is. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Francisco. That's fun to say, Francisco is.
Good morning,
Chris. How I'm doing this morning is up for debate. Let's just put it that way. I'll explain. All will become clear soon. Man, let's just
You're
say
like
it's been
that song on the hee-haw. Bloom, despair, agony on me. Oh! Deep, dark depression, expressive misery. Oh!
Who sang that? Was that Roy Clark? And
good morning, Carol.
Good morning, Miss Carol. The car key is with us. So if anybody can't find the car keys, there they are.
She's got them.
She got them.
Well, with the right next to the box of permission slips. Fully signed and authorized.
We may not need them today, but then again, you never know.
Get her. She's up to no good, Wolfgang.
Who's she getting, Caitlin?
Yeah, Caitlin emerged.
I've been out
looking for dogs this morning. All kinds of fun adventures.
Oh, you've had fun too.
Yeah.
Good morning, Tina McNeil. She's wrangling hounds this morning.
Good morning.
Look here, Mark. Car key is in Hocking Hill State Park in Ohio. You probably know where that is.
I've been there.
I bet you have. Morning, Nico. How's things in Arizona?
Probably did manual labor there.
How far is the school from there?
Not far.
Carol, you may remember, you may not, but that's where Mark started his wildlife education.
I'm matriculated and graduated from.
Probably even got papers to prove it.
It's a 4-year school now. It used to be just a 2-year program, and now it's a 4-year.
Good morning, Chuck.
School.
Yeah, it's turned into.
Oh, the Greek is hot. I bet.
I bet he is too.
Nico, is the monsoon started yet? I hope for your sake it has. Time for a half a dozen people to try to cross that flooded wash.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Monsoon has begun. That's good. I'm coming down there in December.
You going hunting or fishing?
Orange quail in abundance.
Oh, man. Who's going with you?
Elliot.
Besides Elliot. I kind of figured he was.
Creekmore's going. You want to go?
I might. Can you get a bird license without too much trouble down there?
Yeah. Easy peasy.
I might do that. Let's think about that. That sounds like a hell of a good idea to me. I'd like to see that bird. I'd like to see that dog work. By then, he ought to be half grown.
You've already seen him work birds.
Well, I have.
2 months and 7 days old on that, working them sage grouse.
And by January, he'd be half grown. He ought to be out there working 25, 30 birds at a time.
I'm going to be shooting rough grouse over him here in a month and a half.
Sounds like a good idea to me.
I've already been shooting over him and everything. He's like, yeah, that means something special. He's
It don't bother him.
don't have any flaws yet at all, other
Oh
than
man, what a dog!
he likes mom's shoes.
Except, well, you may have to sacrifice. You may have to sacrifice that.
Well, we sacrificed. We bought him a duck that he could chew on. That's got a squeaker in it. And I can just tell him, "Where's your duck?" and he'll go get it.
Smart dog.
He's golly. I don't deserve another dog like that, but he's god dang, he's good.
Nico said he had.
Elliot, he don't like to come yet either, but he hadn't had enough work on that.
Nico says he's got quail nesting outside his house.
Oh, cool. So there's Gamble's quail too.
And then he also says he wants to go on next week's fishing trip. Well, come on, Nico, get your butt up there.
Yeah, meet us. We got room.
We always, if nothing else, I can always use an extra, porter.
A porter.
Somebody to help me carry my stuff.
That's not what I was envisioning. You being like King Louis, and we're like packing you around.
No.
What did they call them deals they packed them kings around on?
Sedan chairs. Some of them were. There was another name too.
Well, they had poles that like 4 to 6 guys picked up the dude and carried him around the village or whatever.
Oh.
Take me up that mountain. I want to see what that looks like from up there.
Nico says he could be a pack mule. I was kidding about that, but someday we'll have to. Maybe who knows? Maybe we will get together.
Drop what you're doing, Nico, and come up.
Yeah, short notice, but
they'll be in Kemmer, Wyoming on the 1st.
Yep, just a week away. Chase Lounge, some kind of a chase anyway. I think maybe it was a lounge. Maybe that's where that name came from.
No, it's a.
Good morning, T-Town Mary Ellen. How's Oklahoma this morning? Oklahoma, where the wind blows something across the plains. Screaming beat most likely. Maybe it's just the wind goes streaming across the plains. We'll have to learn that.
Oklahoma, where the wind goes drifting across the plains. Something like that.
Something like that.
Whipping across the plains.
Oklahoma is a little humid. Yeah. Just a little. If it's just a little, it's probably in pretty good shape. Oh. Chris, you still in here?
I would get in trouble if I missed my boy's birthday for a fishing trip. Well, bring him too. There's his present.
Yeah, everything. It's all wrapped up in one.
We're always helpful people here.
Mary Ellen just said it's sweeping across the plains.
Sweeping.
Oklahoma, where the wind goes sweeping across the plains. And I can't remember the next line at all. I can hear it in my head. But
I watched that from end to end, and I'm still like having like PTSD over the whole thing. It wasn't near as good as I thought it should have been. There were good parts, but
maybe Mary Ellen can tell me this. I've seen a movie version of that to me was a movie version of the play.
Leave it.
But is there also was there also just a straight movie that was done? I guess the musical.
Oh,
the musical was.
There's a straight movie. Hang on, I gotta get something away from the pot.
Okay. Now I have a story from long ago to tell, Mary Ellen. You can't don't leave till I tell this. way back in my wandering youth, I, I was living in Daytona Beach, Florida, going to school, learning how to work on airplanes. And one year, one of my buddy's roommates, who became my roommate later, who was from Kansas, he was from Pratt, Kansas, and he was a sheep farmer. Hey there, hey buddy.
Hey, welcome to TV land. There you
Well,
go.
hi there. Your first appearance live.
You won't be as easy to pick up next time.
No,
Okay, off you go.
Man, I can't believe how much he's already grown.
he can jump
Okay,
up
Chris,
on
I'll do that.
Now.
So anyway, my roommate from Kansas, he
From Pratt.
From Pratt. He used to say, and I don't know if it's true, he used to say geographic center of the earth, or the lower 48. He might have said the earth, but so he came up one time and he said, hey, you guys want to do a little bit of work this weekend? And we had done one other job where we went and helped out set up a play or something over in DeLand, Florida. But anyway, this was right downtown in the Peabody Theater. And of course, we said, yeah, we ain't doing nothing. So I always could use some beer money or something back then. And so we go down there, and what we were doing was helping the stage hands and / roadies that came with the Royal Winnipeg Ballet. The Royal Winnipeg Ballet, which always Mike and Diana were in here, and they were getting ready to do the stage version with all the dancers and everything of Oklahoma.
But it came out after the movie did.
Yeah. Well, this was in 19.
Shirley Jones was
Love it, yeah.
Just a pup.
Well, this play, when I did this was in 1974.
Yeah, so they made Oklahoma in
1975.
I think 50s or maybe even late 40s, but I think
Mary Ellen, it was interesting because picture this. Not only was I a hill kid back then who had moved far away to a distant land, I was pretty ignorant of the ways of things like big production stage shows and ballet and that sort of thing. And who knew that you'd be backstage moving stuff and naked or semi-naked people would be running around changing clothes. And one of the old guys, they had one of the patrons of the theater had her husband and his best friend working down there too, and they couldn't keep their eyes off the stage. we kept having to hit him upside the head and say, come on, quit staring at the dancers. And but it was quite interesting and learned a lot.
That's when you lost your religion.
No, it was too late already.
You were REM-ing it. Wasn't that them that sang Losing My
Yeah,
Religion?
they lost it. Yeah, they were losing their religion. It was funny, but it was I think they did 2 productions, and we had to, the second night or the last show, we had to be there after the show, and it wasn't over till midnight, and they had to be somewhere else, and we had to load the semi trucks that had all their equipment in it, and there was a little narrow alley that they could pull a truck down through, and on the other side of the alley was some like old apartment. Yeah, people lived on top of stores and whatever, I don't know. And they had, of course, several retiree age folks living there. And there we are in the middle of the night out there raising hell, moving and loading the truck. Like imagine the circus coming to town and all the racket and putting up, giant tents with elephants and all that. Well, this is the kind of thing that was
All
going
the
on back there.
roustabouts are out there.
And these roadies that traveled with the show that were telling us, tote this, lift that bar, tote that bell. And they were a great bunch of guys. We really had a lot of fun with them. They were also learned things from them too. And they were just loud and boisterous and, talking and making fun of people. And we had just the most grand old time out there in the back of the alley. But I'll never forget this little old lady. And I'm a little old man now, so I can say this. But this older lady, she kind of leaned out the window like, you guys woke me up in the middle of the night. What's going on? And one of the guys there, who I believe was French Canadian, looked up at her and said something to the effect of, "Mademoiselle, what is the matter? Have we disturbed your sleep?" And she slammed that window down and put back in the house. I was surprised the police didn't show up, but they didn't. That's the night also. This event was happening of all times right in the middle of Bike Week. And back then, Bike Week was brought in a huge European crowd as well as motorcycle people. The Europeans came over by the plane loads to watch the races because there were European racers there. It was a big thing back then. And they like motorcycle racing more than people here do. And so, and when we get out to load the truck, there is a car sitting right in a place that says, "Please do not block this area because trucks must unload and load." Well, there sits this little compact car. I don't remember what kind of cars people rented. It was a rental car. We could tell that because it had a sticker in the window. And there it is, lo and behold, parked right exactly where we need to put the truck. So what do? All of us got around the car and picked it up and we moved it. And we moved it up. And one of the roadie guys said, I don't know where we're going to put it. And we put that car in between a telephone pole and the guy wire. So it was just sitting there like. So we go to work and we're working and working and working, and somebody looks up and I think one of my buddies, elbowed me and said, look. And there's a couple standing there by the car, and they're just standing there quietly watching us working. And one of the roadies, the one that yelled at the little lady, same one, he walked over there and said, "What's the matter?" And the guy didn't speak. The woman spoke no English. Well, supposedly. I saw her smile a couple of times at things that were said that, probably shouldn't have been. And she seemed to understand what that meant. And the guy was like, he was pointing at the car. He could speak a little English. He was Dutch. Turns out they were Dutch. And he's pointing at the car and he's like putting his hands up. And the guy walks over there and looks with him and, kind of like joins him in the looking in the what the hell. And he turned around, finally he turned around to me. He said, "All I can tell you, buddy, is that is one hell of a place to park a car." And walked away. And we went back to work. Sometime during the night, we looked over there and he's sitting there sawing that car back and forth an inch at a time and trying to work it out of that. It was quite the night. It was hard work, but it was actually kind of fun because those guys were a hoot. Anyway, it was Oklahoma. There's my wife. Good morning, everybody. She forgot to say Brenda. Hello. Brenda, do you remember me telling you that story about doing the opera or the ballet? Actually, it wasn't an opera; it was a ballet. It was a ballet version of Oklahoma.
I believe.
And again, here I was from Upper East Tennessee at the foothills of the mountains, and I didn't know about ballet. I knew there was such a thing as ballet, but I didn't know anything about it. Like I said, I sure didn't know that I needed to be careful and avert my eyes at all the inappropriate times. Of course, they could quick change. It was actually quite amazing to watch some of those guys, men and women. Oh, so let me tell you guys what kind of morning I've had. If you look at I'm going to explain my name because nobody's asked me about it yet.
Oh.
And I was running late this morning. My alarms didn't go out. I forgot to set my alarm, and the most Friday nights I don't sleep. I just stay awake and get up and start, do the show. Usually I don't sleep a wink on Friday nights. And last night I did. I fell asleep, and I slept hard. And somewhere about probably time I was supposed to get up, Teddy woke me up. He climbed up on top of me and woke me up, and I said, "Hey, bud, just lay down and go back to sleep." I mean, when he climbs up on you, you wake up because he smashes all the air out of you. But um, I looked out the window and it was just starting to be sunlight, and I said, "Lay back down. My alarm's gonna go off any minute now." Well, it didn't, and I woke up at 7:30, already needing to shower, get up, make coffee, and get out here. And I wasn't through with my show, so I'm not 100% through with it now. But it's gonna be good anyway. So I'm making coffee and I'm kind of trying to hurry through it. And I'm sitting on my stool and I poured scalding hot water into a cup that I poured to get my coffee started. And I poured it out and hit my stomach and then down my leg. And I sat there in this, I don't know what Brenda would say. I was sitting there, my leg was pointed out like this, and I was just shaking it. I scalded all the hair off my leg from the bottom of my short pants down to my socks and then the top of my foot and my stomach area right here. And I'm going to tell you something, pardon my language, avert your ears if you don't want to hear, but it friggin' hurt. And I'm still friggin' hurting. So if you see me wincing or moving around funny, that's because I'm trying to keep anything from touching my leg. Mark said you should have put mercurochrome all over it because that fixes everything. Thinking that's funny because that would burn like crazy. Well, it couldn't have burned any worse than it already did. But I'll tell you, if it had healed it, I'd have put it on there. So that I'm just hoping. I'm really hoping it don't blister up. I only heat my water to like this. Really, I only heat my water to 205 degrees. So it wasn't quite boiling. So maybe it won't take all the skin off. I know,
you got
semantics.
too snobberish with your coffee drinking.
Huh? I've got too snobberish.
Snobberish. It has to be 205. When I throw the grounds in the top of the pot and boil it on the fire.
You don't have a thermometer to regulate that?
Whatever.
You don't regulate the temperature in your pot?
Be Folgers.
Well, hell, I may have to start cooking my own. No, I can drink it out of the way, but if I'm going to sit and pay good money for coffee and my kids every morning, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it the way I want it. Anyway, the professionals say if you get it over that, it scorches the grounds. I don't know.
There you go. Chris offered you a treatment. Aloe.
Yes, I need some, Chris. I don't have any at the moment. I may have to go get some. I did put some cortisone cream on it, and that has helped a little bit. But man, you talk about lighting my world up this morning. It's very bougie. Well, Nico, just think, if you ever come to my house to visit, which you would always be welcome, you're going to get some damn good coffee. That's all I got to say about that.
If you come to my house, Nico, it'll float a horseshoe.
Hey,
That's all I can guarantee you.
well, I've drank plenty of that kind of coffee too, so don't,
I know.
that's why now if I choose to drink coffee once in a while that's a little different, then
Feeling right, it's rain bad. There you go. You got to go to store.
yeah,
You got
we
one.
used to have a
You
bottle
got
of
one
aloe.
there in the local establishment. I bet you they got some aloe.
Yeah, well, we gotta go. We gotta go right by the Walmart and here in a little while anyway. So
Yeah. So there you
when
go.
we do, maybe my wife will duck in there and grab me some, or I will. But man, oh man, did
I
it
got to
hurt!
go cut a little rug here this afternoon.
Oh, that's right. You're going to the festival.
Yeah, it's the largest free music festival left in America, I guess.
You know what? Next year I'll plan to come out to your house this week and bring my stuff, and we should do a live
A
stream right
live
there from
show at the Oyster Grass.
at the Oyster Grass Festival. Yeah. Hey, you never know. Maybe Mercure Chrome.
Hey,
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it
they've
will.
changed committees. So there's supposed to be more bluegrassy again.
Oh, that's good. You know,
They were kind of drifting into the other stuff there for a while. And
is it the Kimmer um, Oyster Festival, or what do they call it?
Oyster Grass or the Kimmer Music Festival.
Oyster Ridge Music Festival, maybe.
All music festivals are free. Well, the
Yeah.
ones in Colorado aren't. They
Wyoming's
cost a
largest
big
free musical.
scenario.
Well, there's probably still some free
Because
festivals in Tennessee, but
all them dope smokers will be in Kimmer today getting arrested.
that's all right. Let them have their moment. I was trying to.
Last year, one of them got lippy with a cop who told him to put that out. It wasn't legal in Wyoming, and it turns out he had like a bunch of heroin on him, so he got to go to prison or to
Well,
jail.
that part he can go to jail for. But I'm telling you, I wish people would just get over the whole dope smoking thing. Hellfire, if they'd start taxing it, we'd have plenty of money to do anything with. Let's see here. I'm looking at
Well, I
who's
have
out there.
not, but I want to. I buy trapping stuff from them. Shields.
From whom?
Shields.
What was the question?
Have I ever been to a Shields?
Oh, Shield store.
They got them all
Haven't-
over Montana.
Yeah, no, I've never. Well, of course I haven't been. They got the Steppers, Liam and Lane Jordan band. Has got two brothers. They got Robin and Dan
That was
Kissinger.
yesterday. I missed them. I've seen them
Yeah.
before, but Jalen Crossland's going to be there today.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to read you the list here. The Recklins.
Who robbed my buddy that I just bought this dog from a girlfriend in college years ago?
The Sweet Lilies. Sickard Hollow. The Bones of J.R. Jones. He's going to be there tonight. Who'd you say?
Jalen Crossland. He's on at 3 this afternoon.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, he's on 3 to 5. I don't know if I know him. I'll have to look for him.
He's got the famous song, Trailer House Fire in Bosler.
Sounds like something I need to hear.
Which is about 40 miles north of Laramie. And actually there was a trailer house fire when he was in college. And I was a biologist in that country. There was a big trailer house fire out there. And it burnt the one living structure down in the quote unquote town of Bosler.
Open container law is allowed in the Triangle Park area only. So if you're going to do any drinking, you're going to have to do it in the triangle.
Which gets larger as the night progresses.
I'm sure it does. Oh, here it says it right here. Smoking for the safety and comfort of all guests. Please don't smoke. Please smoke outside the perimeter of the park. And marijuana is not legal in Wyoming. Oh,
Well, it smells heavily of burnt bale strings in
it
that
does.
area.
I'm sure it will.
But everybody has
Chris
it's
said,
always a good time.
Chris says all music festivals are free if you can get within earshot.
Excuse me.
Unfortunately, for some of us, we got to get too damn close to be
We
earshot
can't
anymore.
hear.
Mark, I know this is that was the shilling. So let me pull up my screen so that I can we can talk about some
What
of
are we
these things that
talking
we're
about?
going to. Well, we're going to talk about a mix of things, and I'm going to show you right here. Let me
We
pull this up.
already have.
We already have.
Yeah,
Well,
mix of things.
we're getting a good stuff.
We've
Well, let's
gone
just
from ballet to shields, trapping supplies.
the ballet wasn't originally on my sheet, so we've got a bonus right there. That was a bonus segue
Bonus
there.
squirrel.
Yeah, bonus squirrel. So, I didn't do the share, did I? Oh, wrong one. This one. Now, but so here's what I put down today, and these are, and I've already added. We've already had the ballet discussion in Oklahoma. So EA Adventure it was this week. That's the big giant. Let's call it almost an amateur air show. It's not amateur, but it's home built and antiques and airplanes that I grew up loving and watching and wanting and that sort of thing. That's happening this week. It's almost over actually. Be over tomorrow, I believe. We discovered a new bookstore. We're going to show something that his daughter found. It's a really cool thing. We're going to talk about jelly. And then I put down in here to cover all the bases. And who knows what else. So, see, I did cover the bases on the ballet. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in here. And, might as well do this. Hit the button. I know nobody probably listens, but hit the like button, guys, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If there is somebody new in the room and they're ninja watching or whatever, welcome. And don't be afraid to step out here and have talk to us. We're all just a bunch of friendly people, mostly.
Happy birthday, Chuck.
This is Chuck's birthday. Hey, happy birthday, Chuck. 76 today. Well, good on you, brother.
Keep on keeping on.
I think I knew that and I forgot, so I will apologize, but I'm not good at memory stuff anymore. I don't know if I ever was, but that is definitely one of my shortcomings. The only two things I can remember are the kids' birthdays, or three things: the kids' birthdays, Brenda's birthday, and when I got married. And I know when I got married because it's the day before Christmas Eve, so I can't forget it. So last week, after the show, Brenda and I got in the car and decided to ride over to the Ami Mill trading post, as they call it. And I don't know if those links are working. Yeah, they are. They are. Good. So you can go there if you want to. The trading post is kind of a little flea market, fresh fruit stand. There was a guy there last week that had a mobile knife sharpening rig, And man, he had a couple of cool knives. He also restores antique knives, folding knives and stuff. And he had an original from the 60s Boy Scout pocket knife. And I had one just like it years ago, and I don't know what happened to mine.
That's it.
Mine mine was different because I'm pretty sure mine was a Camillus. His is a, I don't remember what. Oh, his was an Imperial. Anyway, because he got it out and showed it to me. I said, "Oh, I had one just like that." And he had, man, that thing looked like it was brand new. He had refinished all the scales and polished it all up. And that particular version, I think there was a couple of different Boy Scout knives. And in case you don't know, in the Boy Scouts, at least back then, you had to earn your knife. You couldn't just carry a pocket knife as a Boy Scout. I mean, obviously you could at home because I had probably for years by then, but you had to, know all the safety rules and not cut yourself and know how to sharpen it and just things like that, which so many of them I evidently forgot because as Mark can tell us, hardly anybody knows how to sharpen a dang knife anymore. But anyway, he had some stuff for sale, but he would sharpen. He said he can sharpen anything from scissors to chainsaws to just whatever. He had a van, and he had all kinds of machinery to do most of that stuff. Grinder for chainsaw rig, a way to hold. I mean, he's a pretty interesting guy. And then there was one person there that had some clothing, as in aprons and bonnets, and had a sign that said they could do costuming. Then there was some fresh fruit. There was some jelly, which is what I'm going to talk about here in a minute.
Quit, guys.
Some other canned goods. I'm trying to think what they were. I don't remember if there was somebody there with soap this year or not. And then there was somebody on one end that had some, personal art that was really good looking. He was actually packing up. The sun was beating down on him real bad. He was at a corner and the sun was, and they had their tents lined up. Now it's not a big deal. There's not that many people there. And they were real friendly. And, we mentioned coming back, and we mentioned that we might set up a stand because Brenda and I've been talking about doing that. See, this is what's in my bag of jelly. So we met these people, and I'm going to put this close, and I don't know if you can read that or not. I'll tell you what it says.
I see chickens.
Yeah, there's chickens. Oh, there was a lady that had all kinds of eggs too. Turkey eggs. She had regular eggs. She was out of some of them. And I think she said she had duck eggs. So these folks were Chris Anna Akers. And I'm not sure what the 1949 part is, but it says 1949 Wood Creations. And we thought we would try a jar of their jelly or jam. I'm not sure which this is. They're just jelly to me. And it was Pina Colada. And I brought it up here so I can open it up and maybe show you down in that jar. As you can see, it's about half empty. It has pineapple, coconut, all the flavors that you'd get in a good pina colada if you've ever drank one. And I don't think there's any rum in it, though, unfortunately. But good stuff. And I meant to bring their business card, and evidently I did not bring it. But it was a lady and her husband. I'm looking to see if it's got any other information. They do have Facebook and Instagram. I'll see if I can't put let me see if I can't put their link in here. I'm sure they'd be more than happy to sell you some jams and jellies in the mail. They didn't say that, but they got it on here, so they must plan on it. can't tell if that's got a. Anyway, I told them, I said, if you get, well, we bought the jelly by the way, it wasn't given, so there's no strings attached here. I said, I'll talk about that on my show. And they said, what show? And I said, oh, well, you don't know about Saturday Morning Shine? So I passed it on. They were gonna try to watch, and I'm gonna go over there. I'm gonna go there and do some more video. And I took my camera over there. I took my phone over, and I did walk around with it, but I haven't had time to. I've been too busy to edit it. I don't know if I can show any of it here. I might be able to. But real nice bunch of people, and I think Brenda and I are going to try to get some stuff together and go there and put out a table. See if she can't sell a few aprons, maybe Mark, you reckon I could sell a sacred bag and a towel if I put them out?
Yeah. But you better not sell the sacred towel.
No, not that. That would never happen. upon penalty of death, that would never happen.
If you can ever find it.
Yeah, if I can find it.
Oh, you still haven't.
Well, I didn't get a chance to look since I talked to you last night.
That's
last
true.
night we
You've
talked.
been busy scalding yourself this morning.
I've been busy scalding myself this morning. Yeah, I can't. Trust me. I did record it. Let's see. Oh, you don't want to see that part. Anyway, I'll try to edit that maybe in 1 week here to show it. I can use that for practice. Anyway, nice people. Check them out. You get a chance, go to, and you can check out the Almy Mill site. They've got an eatery there. I don't know if they just call it an eatery. That's what they call it. And it's in the old store building. It's on a big farm, and the Almy family and their ancestors were some of the very first people to live here in Rogersville. And one of them came in, was a Quaker who was real industrious, and came in and built a mill on the creek over there, and had the dam is still there. The mill itself is gone. Just a whole bunch of stuff over there. And they're working on, I think, getting more living history kind of stuff there. So it's a neat place. And I don't know if you remember this or not. He's the gentleman that told me about my ancestors that lived up the hill.
Oh,
There was the Sensabaugh house was right up the road from his place, and during some part of the Civil War, that was the headquarters. The Sensabaugh house was the headquarters of maybe James Longstreet. It was one of the major generals of the Confederacy was in there.
that's cool.
And that was during the East Tennessee campaign, when they were trying to run the Union sympathizers and those of us who wanted to stay with the North. They were trying to forcibly change their minds.
Root us out.
But in the end, I guess we prevailed.
So Pina asked a very interesting question.
Yeah.
What the difference is between jam and jelly? And
Well,
I don't know that I know that other than consistency.
I you know what? My mom always told me she just made jelly. And I think, but here's how people used to explain it to me. Jelly was more refined in that it was, and I know Mom did this. She would take this machine that she would run the berry mush through that would remove the seeds and stuff. And basically, jelly,
everything.
Basically, jelly had none of the fruit meats left in it, the fiber and the seeds and stuff. Whereas jam tended to have more parts of the fruit and more seeds and stuff like that. That's how I was told it was. So and Mom
Well,
later told
I
me,
make like black currant jelly, and
uh huh,
it's just the juice of the jelly.
yeah, the juice of the
None of the
jelly.
plant goes in there except the juice. And then I make peach jam, which is got all kinds of chunks of deliciousness inside of it. So
So that's the difference as far as these two hillbillies know. But
that's
that's how, I mean, Mom would squeeze and squeeze all the juice out, like strawberries or whatever, and turn that into jelly. And then, and I like jelly better because I didn't like seeds in my teeth, apparently. And, but like, for example, she made blackberry jam that was full of seeds, and blackberry seeds are a little bigger than strawberry seeds, and they're harder. And I didn't like them too much, so she'd make me jelly, I guess. And then later in life, she just made the best strawberry jam. She made freezer jam, and
yeah.
I don't know the whole process, but it was
Well,
different than
you
canning.
don't have to cook it. You don't
And
can it.
she, I guess that's why you don't have to cook it, because you're not trying to put it in and pressurize it in a can or jar. Uh, and she put it in the freezer, and my kids grew up eating that. I grew up eating it. My kids absolutely loved it. Every time we'd go there, they would get jelly or strawberry freezer jam from Mom and bring it home. Um, and so I don't know how much of it she made. We used to strawberry pick when I was a kid, but she didn't like to take me much because I didn't get much picking done. I got a whole lot more strawberry eating done. She took Brenda and I both with us one time when we first started dating, and I don't think either one of us got a bucket of jelly. I mean, a bucket of berries. Brenda confirmed that to be true, or tell me it's not true.
Well, that's the way we were with huckleberries in Montana. It'd be like one in the bucket, three for March. One in the bucket, three for March.
Yeah.
Three for that grizzly bear, one in the bucket.
That's exactly how it was. I had a real hard time not eating them, man. Because do you remember Scott's, Mark?
Yeah, oh
Scott's
yeah.
they had
Oh
berry
yeah.
farms all over. They're still down here. I don't know if it's the same people, but they still use that name. There's places around here that are Scott's. They do, and they do
You go there and
blueberries. They also have blueberry farms.
pick your strawberries and yeah.
Well, you know, you can pick them. You can pick them yourself for about half price, or they'll pick them for you. And I'm better off just buying them because I can't. Like I said, I eat too many when I pick my own, which they probably don't really appreciate either. It's
That's
a
not
wonder they didn't offer to. It's a wonder they didn't offer to weigh me on the way out to see, to charge Mom for what I ate. Anyway, it's true. We ate a whole lot more. See, I told you. I knew I wasn't making that up. I think that was the last time Mom let me and you go together to pick strawberries
we can't get good strawberries out here. Mom made the mistake of buying like a great big bunch of them before we went back there this last time.
Uh-huh.
And I think I ate 3/4 of her stash.
Oh, I bet you did.
I was just, I sat down there that first night I was back and ate like 50 of them. And she was like, "Where did all the strawberries go?"
Okay, I think Carol may be about to leave. She said, "We're heading out to our last adventure before we start trek back home. I'll pop back in if we finish." What can you tell us what your adventure is about, Carol, before you go?
They're going
Is
to
it going to be fun? You should go down and say hi to Mark's mom and dad. You're not very far away, about 39 miles, 30 miles.
No, it's further than that.
Is it? Okay.
Hour and 20 minutes or so.
Oh.
I mean,
and you used to drive that every day going to school.
No, I lived halfway between mom and dad and school.
Oh, okay. Well, Carol, have fun. Be safe. Thanks for coming by.
Enjoy the hockey.
Can't wait to hear about your adventures. Do what?
I said enjoy the Hocking Hills because they're beautiful. Don't step on a big copperhead.
No, yeah, don't do that.
I just saw Jeff Foxworthy did that.
He stepped on a copperhead?
Yeah. Bit
I
him.
did not.
Bit him good.
I had not heard that. They had a picture on Facebook last night. I found that, they've got them everywhere, but there's a Tennessee Identify This Snake, group on YouTube, on Facebook, that people post pictures and say, "Oh my God, what's this in my yard?" And people will say, "Oh, that's a this or that's a that." And there's some good people on there, that some of them I know, that can tell people what they are. Well, there was a king snake on. Somebody had a picture of a beautiful king snake, and about this much of what looked like the tail of a copperhead. and the question was, I found this, by the faucet from my garden hose. Is it what I think it is? And I got to looking at it, and I didn't say it because I don't like to spread panic, but I think it might have been a copperhead. You couldn't see much of it. There wasn't a lot of markings left, but I'm not positive. But that king snake had just about consumed that. And that other snake was definitely bigger around than the king snake was. That's what fascinated him. I mean, my God, the things they can swallow is
what
unbelievable.
Are you getting, dude?
Nico says they've got a group like that out there too. I think a lot of states do. Spiders, snakes, and then sometimes just wildlife in general.
Birds.
Tina, Jeff Foxworthy got bitten by a copperhead, Mark said. I had not heard that.
Jeff Foxworthy.
Yeah, Jeff Foxworthy,
the
comedian.
He was talking about power lines at home, and that power lines are still where he lives in rural Georgia. Power lines are still run through the woods, above ground, and a lot of places are going to underground lines. But they had every storm they had no power because the trees were falling over the power lines, and so his wife wanted to buy a generator, so they did, and it kicked on in the middle of the night for no reason. And he thought, well, maybe they do that every now and again just to check themselves out. Well,
if you are,
it kicked right back on. He went out there in the dark barefooted and was walking down the steps to where his generator was at by the basement wall, and stepped right on a big old copperhead. It's he did a little routine on it. It's pretty good.
There's a link to his, should take you, I think that's YouTube. And I got that off of his Facebook page, and the title of the Facebook page was "A Copperhead Sent Me to the Hospital."
It did.
And here's just a brief little bit of history here. It says Jeff Foxworthy was bitten by a copperhead snake, resulting in a staggering $138,000 medical bill, mostly due to the cost of the antivenom. He has shared the okay, now this is only a hillbilly or a redneck from Georgia could do this. He has shared the hilarious and chaotic story on programs like the Dadville podcast. And I can here's the address for that. I'm sure if he did it on something like that, it is hilarious. And
it was like a stand-up deal.
Yeah, he did. That's what I'm doing. But he also did 2 podcasts. That's what I'm saying. He did the stand-up, but he also went on a couple of other shows and talked about it. If anybody's interested,
the antivenom part is hilarious. He's talking about how he went to photograph the snake.
So he saw it first?
No, he saw it afterwards.
Oh, afterwards.
And
Oh,
then he
okay.
went back up to photograph it, so when he went to the hospital, they'd know what kind of snake it was. And I'm
Well,
like,
that's actually
why
good.
didn't you just take in a dead snake? And he made the snake dead. He said, my friend asked me if I relocated it because I got the shovel out. And he's like, yeah, I relocated it in 3 pieces in a cardboard box and put it in the trash.
Now, see, that's bad. That part's bad, but okay.
And he was like, the snake bit me. I don't blame the snake. I stepped on it. And I'm like, then that should have been the end of it.
That should
Elliot,
have been the end of it right there. Snake copperheads can be kind of nasty. I mean, copperhead bites can be so, and sometimes it's not a big deal, or sometimes they can really be wicked. Not as bad. They're not as bad as a big rattlesnake usually, and certainly nothing like a coral snake, for example. But which is a whole different kind of is a different kind of toxin.
If you step on my spine, I'm gonna bite you too.
Yeah, I mean exactly. So I mean,
prairie rattlesnake that bit me. That's why he bit me. I stepped right in the middle of him.
What has got Wolfie all fired up?
Come here, Elliot.
Oh, that was Elliot? Yeah, Mark got bit a few years ago. It's been some time back now when he was out. He hadn't lived in Wyoming too long. He got bit on the foot. He was doing, I don't know if they were doing some kind of work. He was at work and they were doing some kind of work and he stepped up by, I think, a fence post, he told me. And sure enough, Poppy got hit right in the end of the foot, and it got a little sore, but not very. And it was a prairie rattlesnake, wasn't very big. I'm telling a little bit of your story. You got bit standing by a fence post, didn't you? You say you were
long. He like I was stepping up to that post to take a sign down.
Yeah.
We were signing ground that we had leased from farmers and ranchers for hunter access. And
right.
The boy that I had working for me signed the wrong piece of property. And that particular landowner had told me not only no, but heck
hell no.
And so I snuck back in there of the evening with my boss and took those signs down. I stepped up to this. They'd put some safety zones signs around this old homestead that nobody lived in 100 years. I was taking those signs down and just stepped on his back. And when I pulled my foot back, he bitten right through my boot. I just had those lightweight hiking boots on and bit me in my big toe. But he didn't.
But it didn't do much.
So. He dry bit me, which about half of them are anyway. They don't. I mean, that's not a defense mechanism. It's a digestive. It's a cocktail.
They do that to eat and survive.
Yeah, it's for digesting their meal.
So they don't, and that's what a lot of people don't know. There are a lot of snake bites that don't actually cause much of a reaction.
It made all the hide slough off my toe. That was cool.
So yeah, there was a little bit of venom there, but not much.
Come on, girl.
Tina says they bitey snakes. I have a distinct dislike for bitey snakes. Now I guess you do, Tina, and I appreciate that. I mean, hellfire, poor Danny. I'm sure that's what happened. I think you got that verified finally, but that anyway, I don't blame you. I'm not. If one bit me and I had a lot of trouble, I probably wouldn't be too keen on them either. But as a rule, I'm like, Mark, I know they don't bite me on purpose.
My boss asked me what was going to happen to that snake, and I said nothing. When I pulled my foot back, he was hung in my boot, and I flipped him about 20 yards.
which
And
I'm
I
sure
said,
wasn't pleasant.
he's had his flight for the day. That's all that's going to happen to him. He didn't step on me. I stepped on him. And he's like, you just aren't right in the head, dude.
Nope, that's just how we are.
That's just how we are. I didn't like, if I wanted to eat him, I would have killed him, but I didn't
That'd
want to
be
eat him.
different. And just for the record, we have killed a couple and eat them, just so people know.
Indeed. And I like it, but I was working.
So yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever seen it in the store, but when they do some of the big rattlesnake roundups in places like Texas, at least they used to do this. They used to butcher them and can a lot of the meat from those, and you could buy it.
They still have great big ones down there, and they don't hurt. They do not hurt the western diamondback population.
No, they haven't. They haven't yet. That's
They've
for
not.
sure.
I mean, they've gotten plumb scientific about it. So,
Well, let's move. Speaking of reptilians, let's talk about this guy. So I found this, and that is a broadhead skink, and he was in my basement.
oh, cool.
And I took a couple of quick pictures. He was sort of trying to get out of my way, and he thought he was hiding, and which he didn't even have his eyes closed. But anyway, he that was a joke, son. That was a joke.
You're cutting me, but I ain't bleeding.
He was about 6, 7 inches long, maybe.
Yeah.
So about half grown. These guys, again, for the record, these guys get up to they can get up to a foot long, and a foot long broadhead skink in full probably. I don't know if they have rut, but when I've seen them when they're probably in that mode, and that head, all that underneath gets bright red, orange. It's not really red. It's more of an orange to me, or a burnt orange kind of color, but it really lights up. It's bright. And man, the head of those things will be bigger than my thumb. They I don't know, they probably get an inch across at least, I would think. I've seen a couple really big ones. Cats like to bring them in. I had the biggest one I ever saw. A cat brought me one time. Wasn't even my cat. But this guy was in the basement.
Bite you.
They can bite you, especially a foot long one. We've got a lot of 5 lines around here. We see them, and every once in a while, a small one will slip in under the door. And needless to say, but Chloe and Teddy have a great time with them, and are not kind to them. And usually by the time I find them, their tail's missing and they got bite marks all through them, so they don't survive the test. I saw one run across the driveway a couple of days ago. We were moving something, and he looked like he was about this long. He was just a little bitty guy. I couldn't tell if it was one of these. When they're little, they look so much alike, I can't really tell them apart. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, these guys even have a blue tail, or somewhat of a blue tail. I'm not positive of that. But
they do when they're juveniles.
Yeah, when they're juveniles, yeah. But boy, when they're this size, there's no tail. There's no. A 5-line male can get up looking kind of like this, and they get pretty good size. But they have some stripes on them, you can tell. This guy was not. Now, he was somebody, I don't know, I mentioned it to somebody online before, and they said, well, what'd you do with him? And I said, I left him alone. He was down there eating bugs and stuff. I don't, hell, if he's doing a job, I'm going to let him work. But just one of the many things you might find out at our place.
Make sure speaking of bugs, make sure you boys bring some, or we'll have to procure some
bug dope.
Because
I'm glad you said that.
Buffalo gnats are going nuts right now, which are black flies, And
Is there anything other than just strong DEET? Is that just as
just
long as it's
I
got?
like the pure Vietnam era bug juice is
Yeah, but you can't
yeah,
get that, can
it'll
you?
give me cancer when I'm 90. Um, it's I just get the 100% DEET stuff because the
Okay,
mosquito we're on hatch 3 of mosquitoes, and they're little bitty tiny ones,
but they bite.
and they hit me in the knuckles first. That's where they go, and I don't even see them. They're little bitty guys, and
Well,
just they're terrible,
here's
terrible.
what we're
I
gonna
mashed
do.
several yesterday working on a saddle.
Here's what we're gonna do, because I have experience in this with you, and I'm just gonna stand close to you, and I probably won't even need
And you
nobody.
won't even get one on you.
It's the same way with Philip.
Well, that's the way I use Owen, my grandson, because he's translucent, and they're like,
Mosquito bait.
this is like cheating. We can see his veins and things.
Yeah. Turns the translucent kid. Well, that
Sammy the
Phil's
other day, the boy said, "Well, he's opaque," and I'm like, "No, he's not. If you hold him up to the sunlight, you can see clear through him."
first time you told me that, I about died. I fell out of my chair. He's see-through kid. I'm gonna check him up next time
Well,
next week. I'm
no
gonna.
seams are a whole nother class of biting
Yeah,
creature.
God, they're awful.
Those are
too.
culicoides gnats, and they cause the death of thousands of whitetail deer in Wyoming almost every year.
Do they
If
cause a
it
brain?
gets dry, they carry EHD,
Oh,
which
okay.
the reservoir generally is domestic cattle, and so whenever it's dry, the whitetails all move down on the river bottoms, and they're not widely distributed,
And
and
they get bitten a lot.
then they get bit more by no-see-ums, and then they end up with. I mean, we find river bottoms where there's just hundreds of deer dead.
Mm, bad cracker.
Bad cracker.
Yeah, and they are dang sure body.
And they're like, yeah, their reason there's no see-ums is because you can't see the little devils.
Was Dave in there? Oh, that Dave Adventures by Dave. Hey, Dave, I missed you there. Sorry if I missed anybody else. I apologize. I'm in a rare mood
I'd
today.
like
I'm
to
still.
find a 5-line skunk.
Who's the who do? I'm trying to read. Tina said something about he wanted to be your cat, Tim. It was a homecoming gift. You talking about the skink? Or did I miss something there,
Yeah, it's
Tina?
a
I'm sorry.
skink. We're still talking skinks.
Okay. They Phil's that way. Brenda's that way. I can stand there. I can stand out in the yard and not get bit, not one time. And Brenda will be sitting there just like this. And she said, I gotta go back in the house.
Well, I
And
just
bless her
stand in
heart.
the wood smoke, and that works better than the DEET does.
Well, that's true, it does. But you can't always stand in the wood smoke.
So I build me when I'm working outside in my plane.
Oh, the cat brought home. Yes, Tina. Maybe that was it, Tina. He did want to be my cat. It was a big skink too, one of the biggest I've ever seen. That one the cat brought me. Unfortunately, it too it was almost like a leopard. It had bite mark right through the head. Anyway, I found that, so that was kind of cool. And then in the last week or so, Mark's daughter, Caitlin, found this. And this is even cooler. This is
That's,
one of the coolest
that's
things I
way
have
cool.
ever
That's way
seen.
cooler than a broad-headed skink.
This is one of the most amazing things that I've ever seen. It is, in fact, it could even be one of the best examples of this that they've ever found. I mean, I don't know that for sure,
You
but
can
they
see the
don't.
veins and the wings and everything. It's
Yeah, I mean, if you look at that that is a fossilized record, or fossil record. It is a fossil of some sort of winged insect.
that has got a big abdomen for the more blood you drink.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And I couldn't tell, Mark. Can you tell by the wings if it's a fly or like a bee? I
I
mean, I
have
know
no
the
idea what it's not a beetle. It's a fly of
no,
something.
it's definitely a fly. Okay, right. How big was that?
I haven't
Teeny?
seen the actual fossil, but
Oh, okay.
I think it was about 3/4 of an inch long.
Which is a pretty good sized bug.
I'm sure all the Uintatheres and Titanotheres and things that were running around were getting bitten by these things constantly.
I'm sure they were. I mean, as we've talked about before, you guys know. I mean, insects to become a fossil was a pretty hard thing to happen to begin with. I mean,
Even if you
everything
had big
out there.
old giant bones, it was hard to become a fossil.
Yeah, even that, because think about how many there were, and you still don't find that many. And then you get down to we talked about sharks being soft bodied and cartilage, and that's rare to get a really good fossilized shark, which they have found. Bones help a lot, but something like this has no bones. It may or may not have had a hard exoskeleton, but it's just a bit of fly. And for that to get trapped in the mud and then preserved for a few hundred
50
million
million
years,
years is 50 million years old.
50 million years old.
Yeah.
Jiminy Christmas. That's just and I don't know. She must have. They don't. I have to wonder that there's not more of these there, but people haven't found them. Caitlin's got a good eye for this kind of thing.
Well, and these things go right to a museum. The stuff
Right.
like this, they don't. The quarry she works for, they don't sell these or anything. If they've got scientific value, they go right. They either go to UW or to one of the lesser known museums like the Field Museum in Chicago.
Lesser known.
But
That's a,
they deal with all the big university museums and collections all over.
I'm sorry, guys. I left it.
Nico
I got
says it's almost as old as
almost, Nico. Almost. That's about how my body feels, especially this morning. I did do a stationary dance on top of a stool when that happened this morning.
mine.
If you'd seen it, you.
Similar to stationary panic.
I just read that. I've got that book and it's down at the house. If I had it, I'd read it right here. I took it down to the house so Brenda could read it again. It's been so long. Modified stationary panic is.
It's useful when you encounter the bitey snakes.
Exactly. That's a good example. Oh me. So anyway, this Kaylin found this and it's probably on its way or already at a museum somewhere. So that's really cool. And that's the second one she's found, isn't it?
She's found at least two, maybe three insects.
I know one of them was more of a blob of an insect. It didn't look as
But
clear. This one.
it was a beetle. It had long antennae and it was hard shelled critter.
Yeah.
Yeah, this thing is definitely soft bodied and a fly of some form.
Amazing. Just
But
amazing.
it looks to me like it was a bloodsucker,
Yeah.
just
Well,
based on the shape of the abdomen.
that's a good point. I thought For a minute, I thought it was a big mosquito of some sort, and it could be, I suppose. But
It's no, it's built like some kind of a. It almost looked like a grampus, a helgramite,
Helgramite, maybe.
a dog.
Mark and I discussed
But
this.
it's
If
not.
nobody's,
It's not that. It's just. It's
if
got that.
nobody else has thought of this yet, Mark and I told Mark the other day. I said it'd just be our luck. It'd be a damn yellow jacket. Pardon my language.
I'd love to find one.
Wouldn't that be cool? It would be cool. I have
It'd
to
be
admit.
cool. I'm sure they were about
I'm sure they were. I have no doubt.
stinging every great big mammal that like wandered into their lair.
It wandered within anywhere near where they were at and
'Cause
made them mad.
we had rhinos, and we had in these days we had 5-toed horses and
Hmm.
some big critters called titanotheres, which were like rhinos on steroids, and then
Yeah.
Uintatherium, which was also like a rhino on steroids.
So anyway, this was cool.
Yeah,
So then,
it's definitely not a moth, Tina.
I've had no. It's definitely not a moth. Um, you can the wings are not right for one, as one example. Um, so something else weird happened this week,
Go.
and I got a phone call. You'll appreciate it. Well, he's gone. He would appreciate this because he gets calls like this more than I do. I got a call that was related to my old job, and it was a landowner uh, in one of the areas that I used to work that bordered up against federal land, and he was having problems with well, how should I put this? Hoodlums who were operating off-road vehicles in areas and shooting a lot in areas that they were not allowed to do that. And he was concerned because I think they were cutting across his property to get to that property. And he wanted to know who to talk to. Well, he called to talk to me. And he started right in on me. And I said, whoa, 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 whoa. I said, I hate to tell you, but I don't work there anymore. I'm retired. He talked longer. And I said, I'll tell you what I will do because I don't know who is doing the job I did anymore in that right at the moment. And I said, let me get in touch with some people I know and I will see if I can get you a phone number and I will call you back and get it to you. So I did. And I called my friend, one of my friends, I consider her a good friend, who was I would also say she was my best volunteer leader. And I said, who's taking my place? I need a phone number. I told her what was going on. And it happened to be a situation that she had been involved in a few years ago because it involves uh, the largest island on Norris. And we had a lot of problems with vandals. Uh, they set up a racetrack on the island for a little while until we caught them. But anyway, so she got a hold of the replacement, and she's contacted the gentleman. I'm waiting to see if he calls me back. Kind of hoping he don't, but he might. I have to expect he will. Uh, but I can't do much for him. But I did get him there. But anyway, in the course of that conversation, uh, Julie said we need to get together. She said I need to get Fred and Brenda, and we need to go meet somewhere and have dinner. Or just we hadn't done anything like that in a good while. We hadn't seen them, and uh, she wanted me halfway. And then she said, "This is almost like in ancient times, or in a fairy tale or a fantasy type. Someone calls from afar. a warrior or a trader or a traveler. Here's, you know, the siren call, I guess. And she said, I really need to get over there because I need to run up White Pine to the bookstore and take some pictures. And my eyes got about this big. And I said, oh, you know what? I could do that for you. I need to go. I've been wanting to go to that bookstore and take some pictures. Not take some pictures. I wanted to go to the bookstore. And man, was I glad I did. This is the bookstore.
And man, was Brenda glad that you went to the bookstore.
Well, Brenda went with me, and we rode over to White Pine. We had to run some errands anyway yesterday, and so this bookstore is in White Pine, Tennessee. And if you look it up, and I may have the link in here in a minute, um, it's an interesting story. I sort of did some impromptu interviewing, and I sent a letter. I'm actually hoping to get a response from the owner of the store because I'd really like to go over there and interview her and then do an article for Julie to post on her. She does travel blogs for the state. She does tourism stuff, and I've actually done a couple of things with her before, but it had been a while, so I wanted to get back involved a little bit. Um, so we went there. Now this was started by a lady. I said, "How did this get started?" And it's owned by women. It's been a women-owned business from the beginning, which I think is really cool. And she said, "Well, here's the deal. I was a single parent, raising two kids, and didn't have a lot of extra money or anything. So she started doing, just anything kind of business on YouTube or eBay, that kind of stuff. And it grew and it grew and it turned into books. She started dealing in books. And this is the third or fourth location that they have been in. And I'm going to tell you something, as you'll see in a minute. I think they've just about outgrown this location. I don't know what she's going to do next. She may make it work, and then maybe she can, but man, is it full. So we went in and got a couple of pictures of the front of the store. I liked the art in the windows. I thought that was really cool. So we drove around back. You can go in the front or the back, but the front parking was not good. And so we went around to the back, and there was a bigger parking lot. And that's the back door of the store there. And you can see that it's painted also. And that my lovely bride has just entered. Anyway, we went inside, and they had a table right there at that door. This is where if you want to trade books or bring in old books, you lay them on this table, and then they process them here. Uh, and Brenda got stuck. That's why Brenda couldn't say much about my book buying yesterday. As soon as we walked in the door, she found 3 Christmas presents just like that because they had some really cool stuff right there. And I don't have that with me. I'd show you. They not only do they have a lot of books, but they have a lot of games. They deal with a lot of. They do some comic book trading, and they got like what do they call them? Um, graphic novels, things like that. And Brenda found some stuff that she thought the girls would really like. Some really cool journals and a couple of and a storybook. Had some beautiful books about through the looking glass kind of stuff and more original kind of art. But the front door, this first door, I just loved what this sign said. And it said, "Abandon all despair, ye who enter here," because you're about to enter the world of books. And that's what it looks like through that first door. And you can't see a whole lot there. And yes, I did come home with new books. Well, new old books. There is one small section of the store. I really liked that poster. That poster was on the end of one of the bookshelves, in kind of the children's area. They had a lot of children's book stuff. Some really good stuff in there too. The bull cat in the picture there, his name is not Travis. Oh, Brenda, what's his name? Um, yeah, you were my enabler yesterday. Oh, what's the cat's name, Brenda? Can you tell? You
It
remember?
says right there on that sign,
Does it?
a cat.
Oh, that's the cat. That's a different cat, believe it or not. They've got two. They're both black hair. They're both black. One short haired, one long. Uh, oh, what's his name? He's got a cool name. Anyway, he's sort of the guard. Mostly he sleeps in the chairs.
Ezra.
Ezra. His name is Ezra. And he was sound asleep when we were there in a big easy chair. And I was scratching his ear. There's a sign also as you go in the door. It's on the front door. It says, "Parents, please do not let your children chase the cats around the store because the cats aren't that children friendly. So they don't like to get cornered and caught. And so they try to get away, and they've evidently had problems with kids chasing them through the store. And that's, they don't want to do that. But the cat, I was scratching his ear, and I asked him if I needed permission to take his picture and put him out to the world to see. And they said no, he's fine. He doesn't have an agent or anything. So this store is just slam full of books and other things and amazing, beautiful, wondrous things that I could not get away from. So, Brenda, I was just walking around and kind of in a daze honestly, I was trying to figure out what their organization was. And they have genre sections, and then within the genre sections, usually it's alphabetical. And, but one of the workers there showed me a really cool app that I can scan my books, the barcodes inside the books if they're new enough to have them, and it'll automatically label them. And I can put, everything I've got here. It's going to be a big project, but I'm going to do it. So we went in, and one of the very first things I saw when Brenda said, "Oh, look, here's the history section." See, she really wasn't an enabler. I found this book. Now, one might say, what in the world is that big red book? Because there's not many books other than Mark, as Mark pointed out, that are normally this size that you see handy besides Bibles. And it's not. Well, it sort of is to me. And this book is called The Mystic Warriors of the Plains. And this is just, to me, this is just an amazing book. It's so full of detailed and grand information about the warriors of the plains. And this particular book is dedicated. This book was produced in the 72 originally. Where does it
We
tell?
saw it come out live.
Yeah, we saw it when it was new. That's right. We did, or almost new. This is the book I bought a copy of this book at Friendship, which was a big muzzleloading gathering when we used to do a lot of reenacting in the primitive area and stuff. And this book, I would walk by and see this book, and I'd flip through it, and I'd think, "Oh man, I want this book. It's such a cool book." And I think your dad already had a copy of it. If he didn't have one, he got one.
Made a leather. His dust jacket is under a leather dust jacket that he stitched up.
That's what I need to do. I need to start making leather dust jackets. That is an excellent idea. So anyway, now I saved up my pennies, and a year or two after this came out, or probably a few years, not long, but I bought one. And this book was somewhere between $30 and $50. I think it's about $50 when I bought mine.
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying it's a great valuable book today or anything like that, because I got this one pretty cheap. But what happened was I bought this book, and then at some time after that, we sort of did a reenactment thing for a friend of my mom's. She was doing it was a summer, I guess, Bible school kind of thing at her church, where my mom and dad went. Well, where they took me to when they had control of me. But and they didn't want to know if we could set up a teepee. Mom knew that I knew somebody had a teepee, and they were talking about Native Americans and stuff, and that can be a subject for another time. But and so I talked Mark's dad into it, and we set it up and made a sort of a camp there in the yard, and the kids all came out and looked at everything and oohed and awed, and got to see all kinds of cool stuff that I wish I'd seen when I was their age. And I loaned this book to that young lady, the teacher. Again, she was a friend of mom and dad's, and I'd known her probably most of my life too. And I said, sure, just be careful with it. So I think what happened was she probably laid it down on the floor. I can imagine this. And the children just went to town on it, looking at it, reading it, probably mishandled it a little bit. Maybe it got dropped. But when I got it back, the spine was broken, the pages were falling out, it was pretty much ruined for you couldn't really read it or hold it anymore. Well, I guess you could take the sections out one at a time. So yesterday I'm going to do a heart transplant. my dust jacket was great. This one didn't have a dust jacket. So I'm going to put this book in my dust jacket. Now my book is renewed. And I don't know. I think I'm going to take the old one, and I'm going to see if I can repair the spine. I've been wanting to see if I can learn how to do that. So I think I'm going to do that. And then maybe I'll take it and donate it back to their shop. But anyway, so I bought this. I paid $4.95 for it. And then
That's a deal there, buddy.
And then while I was standing there, I found a few more things, such as the dictionary, the Dictionary of the American Indian by John Stoutenbaugh. Now, this wasn't a book I was looking for, but it was a book that I obviously needed because it's got a lot of really amazing dialogue, words, explanations. Very interesting book. This book was produced back in, I'm going to guess this is from the 50s. No dates. Oh, it's got one of them Roman numeral dates. MCM. Oh, 60? Maybe 1960. Anyway, so there's this one. Then there's this one that I thought might be interesting. The Long Death, The Last Days of the Plains Indians, by another guy. I didn't know this guy. So I thought, man, that might be really interesting too. And it's got some cool pictures in it, original pictures. It's got a lot of maps. I can't wait to dig into that. Then I got this one that was The Last Days of the Sioux Nation by Robert Utley, which I have heard of him. And I was trying to figure out, there was one I picked up. I don't know if I'll see what the last one is. The Last Days of the Sioux. And then I got this one, which is The American Indian as Slaveholder and Secessionist. I've been actually wanting to read this because I've got a feeling this is about a lot of the Indian tribes that were in Oklahoma.
Creeks and the Cherokees.
And the Cherokees. So I really wanted to read this. So I'm really looking forward to that one. But none of these I'm going to be able to get into before I go on my trip. And Brenda came home with a bag of her. She came home with a bag of stuff too. Brenda said that was about the time I stopped picking up books and showing them to Tim.
Including Ezra.
including Ezra. She said,
smuggled Ezra home too.
tell him about your cool puzzle. Yeah, I'd have probably brought Ezra home. He could have lived right. He could take Teddy's chair.
Did you hear that, Tedward?
He's not here. He can't hear it because he stays down there. He won't come up here. So she said, tell him about the cool puzzle. We found a really cool puzzle. It's a picture of a really good authentic picture of a black bear's head. And the puzzle is the shape of the bear's head. It fits the outline. And it really looks like it's really well done. And I think I'm going to put that together, and then I'm going to mount it on, preserve it, I think. Anyway, it's just a really neat puzzle, and she bought it for me. And she said, "Well, here's another Christmas present." So I can wait. If I don't get it till Christmas, I can wait. We got to finish a couple other puzzles first, anyway. So anyway, it was a really fun trip, and I can't wait to go back and spend. Let me tell you, I've been in quite a few bookstores and antique stores that sell old books. And one thing that almost none of them ever have is a place for somebody like me to rest my bones and sit down and look through the books. In every aisle, except the ones I took pictures of, they took a picture. Actually, this is their picture, not mine. Although I took a bunch like this for Julie. In every aisle, they have 3 or 4 folding chairs set in there that you can pull out, open up, sit down, and sit there and just read every book in the bookshelf if you want to. And I went up and I thanked them for that, because most places you can't sit down and look. And somebody like me, I can't stand there and look as long as I want to, because my leg, my back just don't agree. And I thought that was very nice of them. Anyway, it's a really cool place. I can't wait to go back. And they're on Facebook under the White Pine Bookstore. Yeah, White Pine Bookstore. Make sure I didn't get my names mixed up. And cool place. I can't wait to go back up there. I will definitely become a patron if there is such a thing in a bookstore. Yeah, I guess there is. Certainly, I'm going to become a common visitor, because, man, they got a lot of stuff in there. And I only began to look at it yesterday. I had to drag myself away from that one area because I was buying too much. They had some cool. They had a book. I did almost buy this one, and I think I will get it because they had more copies of this one. It was a newer book. It was a wildlife book, but it had all the major wildlife species. Maybe not all, but a lot from around the world and all different countries. And it did seem to be pretty thorough. I mean, obviously, a book like that, to really have them all, would probably be too big, though. It'd be bigger than this Indian book. But it had a lot in it, and I almost bought it. And I told Brenda, I said I should get this, because there's a picture in there of an American badger, and then there's a picture of the European badger, and it reminded me of that thing you sent me the other day. If I have a minute, I'll show that. But anyway, so then the last thing I wanted to talk about today a little bit, and is
this week. If that red book matches your red leg. Don't be standing up showing.
I'm not. I told Mark I may be sitting here with no clothes on. You can't tell. I'm not. It's not true, but I almost did. I tell you, this hurts. Pretty close, Chris. Pretty close. And I'm going to mark you down for that. I'm not going to forget you said that.
Put your name in my book.
Put your name on my list.
I can whoop folks, and I got a book. I'm referencing Jerry Clower.
I know.
The esteemed Jerry Clower.
It's dangerous.
His hair was slicked back like a water buffalo. Parted in the middle, looked like a Cape buffalo.
Cape buffalo.
He said water buffalo, but same difference.
Close enough. So anyway, this is the big flying Oshkosh. I grew up calling it Oshkosh. They really call it now. It's most people call it the Experimental Aircraft Association Airventure, and they've got a lot of different chat. I just put all these neat logos up because I thought, wow, these are kind of cool. Different things they're involved in. The Eagle flights. And I didn't go educate all these. The Aero Educate, where they teach classes on all kinds of things, or organize them for rebuilding, maintenance, rebuilding antique, and building new airplanes. Plus, real serious aircraft engineering. They do a lot of scholarships. They also support and are part of the Warbirds of America, which is, I don't know, one of my favorite things. I'm not sure what attracts us to such. I mean, warbirds, you think, well, why that? But it's in my DNA, I guess. I can't help it. And then here's just a whole bunch more different groups. They've got a Young Eagles for early pilots, kids. They have classes or groups or clubs that kids can go in and start learning about aviation. And they say everybody in something like that won't want to fly, but a few kids do, and that's good, and that's what they're looking for. So all these things are related to that. The logo at the bottom left is the logo, and the one I kind of grew up knowing the EAA by, because they started out as a group, as a club or an organization that wanted to help and support home builders and promote home building of aircraft, and part of that was because America was already starting to move away from this. Early part of the 20th century, one of the things America was famous for was the inventiveness of the American people and the things that were built here and created here and started here. And we didn't start everything in the world, but we did a lot. And there were just people who, random people who would somehow learn they figure out how to do something. Next thing you know, they're building, jet planes or something. But they're trying to promote that. And for example, one of my heroes, local hero, E.F. Huffaker, was just a common guy who lived on a hill in Chuckey, Tennessee. And he sat up there and watched the vultures fly and long enough to figure out how to build a wing. And the wing that we fly on today is primarily something he figured out. And he's just a, farm boy from Tennessee. Well, he'd gone to learn how to be a civil engineer. He could survey. He was mostly a surveyor. But anyway, of course, there's air shows galore. In fact, there'll be one starting probably up here just in a few minutes, or real soon, be a Saturday afternoon show, and there's going to be a show tonight. So if you're at all interested in this kind of stuff, go to eaa.org, and that's where I can't tell you, I have to find the link, but maybe I'll post it. But you can go they have a live, everything that's being shown live at that time is on that link. It's on there. You can open them up and watch them, and you can watch the air shows live. And tonight they're going to have a twilight air show, which is, if you've never seen people doing aerobatics at night, it's really cool. And they're going to have a drone show, and I think I've got some pictures. Oh, I don't have everything. I'll have to dig them up. This is where I didn't get finished and didn't get up here in time. This is a T6 Texan, World War II air trainer that I think they flew right up towards Korea. And also, if you've ever seen any World War II movies where it had the attack of Pearl Harbor or other dogfighting activities going on between the Japanese and American pilots, this airplane, the T6 Texan, was converted over to look like the Japanese Mitsubishi Zero, and and it does look a lot like a Zero. It's built very similar, and so that's what you're looking at is a T6 Texan. The bottom picture, there's two civilian DC-3s, and then there are three Skytrains, C-47s, maybe even a C-48, I think, is the number. It's slightly modified, but they're all the same thing. They're DC-3 airframes. Probably one of the greatest airplanes, especially for its time it was ever built. And they're still used. There are parts of the world where they still use that as a main airliner. But three of these, as you might know, are painted up in the D-Day invasion color scheme. That's what that black and white stripe represents. And a couple of these were actually at D-Day. A couple of these airplanes did drop paratroopers behind the lines the night before D-Day, January 6th, and they're still flying. They were rescued by EAA and members of, and they rebuilt them, and here they are back in the air. I put this in there. This is an A-26 Marauder or an Invader that had several different names over the years. And the reason I put this in here, this was America's fastest twin engine fighter bomber, well, maybe any warbird at that time. They just got everything right on this, the wing style, the fuselage, and the engines were souped up and ready to go. A friend of mine worked on these. This was what he did in the Air Force. They still flew these airplanes right up to and into Vietnam. And these airplanes were some of the first military aircraft that the United States, actually took to Vietnam in the 60s. And he worked on one. He was a good friend of mine. I worked with him for a few years. I used to talk to him every once in a while after that. And he used to tell me stories about being in Vietnam and working on airplanes over there and kind of what that meant and how hard it was and how hot it was. And they actually had a squadron of these airplanes of this model, fitted out, loaded up, and running on standby, because when they're on standby, they start these things up and they set on the end of the runway and they let them run, because when they say go, they got to go. They had a squadron of these airplanes that he worked, and he was one of the crew chiefs on, or mechanic, for the invasion, or the Bay of Pigs invasion in Cuba. That's how close, there were a lot of things happened during that went wrong. But the U.S. Army Air Force, or actually it was the Air Force by then, had a group of these airplanes there for support, because they used this airplane for ground support. It could drop bombs. They had a bunch of machine guns and cannons in the nose of this thing that it could unleash just hell on Earth out the nose. And they had a bunch of these airplanes waiting, ready to go to Cuba, but they didn't. They stopped it. They called them back. They didn't go, but he was down there with them. They had them sitting there running on the ground, ready to take off. So I put this in here.
That's cool.
I think a B-26, A-26 is a A. Then the A in this case stands for attack. Instead of a bomber, it's an attack airplane. I put this in here because this is an electric airplane. And this is a really neat little airplane. I've actually been following this for a couple of years. The group that designed and built this and figured this all out built this airplane in this shape and size so that it could be, if it proves successful, which so far it has, it can be used to do a lot of stuff like around town or small towns, haul cargo, haul people like an air ambulance. and they built it from scratch to be able to do these things because they knew it was going to need, would need a niche to fit into. Um, that engine on the back is an electric motor, very powerful, new design. Um, I think the engine and stuff was designed in Germany. It's and they work, they fly, they can haul 6 or 8 people, I think. So this could be something they use as a shuttle from inner city, or obviously you can't take off on the. Or they do. They make a version that can actually go vertical and then go. That looks just like this, except it's got 4 small engines that go up and down instead of forward. Um, I just didn't put it, but this one was at Oshkosh this year. This was the first time it had been brought over here, I believe, and demonstrated. They've been flying it around in Europe for, I'm going to say, a couple of years now. Maybe not quite that long. They're working on them here and over there. This one might have been built here. I'm not positive, but I think it was over there. And I don't know. I can't say electric stuff don't work when I can see an airplane, I see it fly. And the jobs that they would like to use it for are kind of like an electric car in a way, that are in the right places. I think it could be successful. We'll see. They've certainly done a good job on it. And that's the only pictures I got because I ran out of time last night because I was out all day. And then I didn't get up here this morning. But I do want to show a couple more pictures. I'm going to open them up. Let's see if I can't open them up this way. Because I've got a couple of really cool shots here. Yeah, I'll start with this one. Move my screen over here. I mentioned the nighttime air show a minute ago. And here is an example of some of the things they're doing now with drones. You guys have probably, yeah, you guys may have seen aerial drone shows. I know that Disney has even, Disney did something with them. I don't know if they're using them now, but they had tried some things just to see how they work. And this is a really good example of what you can do with nighttime drones. All that you see, all that America 250, that is a swarm of drones sitting out there hovering and programmed to make that shape. I just find that absolutely fascinating. I've seen some other really cool things, but I thought this was neat. And since it's this 250th anniversary birthday, I thought I'd show that one. Let me see if I can pull up a couple more now. I'm going to open. There we go. I'll try to do this and do it, make it look decent, not make a mess of it. You see a lot of things like this. A couple of these are really small. I don't think these are Pitts, Pitts, Pitts airplanes. That was one of them in the 70s and 80s. They were one of the most common and most acrobatic airplanes ever built. Now they've come out with some newer ones that are modified, but you can see they're biplanes. So, kind of old technology meets new. But they did a lot. They're doing some really cool stuff in air shows over there. Because if you're at all interested, you ought to take a look today. Here's one. I mean, this guy looks like he's about to crash. This guy is flying down the length of the runway on his knife edge, which is not easy to do at all. And he flew that thing like 3,000 feet down through there. So everybody got a good look. It's just amazing. Some of these pilots are just unbelievable. I'm going to close out a couple of these and open up some more. This airplane is a kind of a favorite of mine too. This is a twin beach or beach 18. They were used civilian corporate planes they called cargo. The military used them for a while, and this guy does a really cool aerobatic show with his. I didn't even know you could do aerobatics in a beach till I saw that. I saw him fly last year, and he does a show. Part of it is to the tune of the I think it's the Disney tune from the movie Dumbo, Elephants on Parade, I believe is it the name of it, and it's really cool. I mean, this guy's really good with that thing. Oh, of course, there's always some of this. That's the bottom side of either an F-35 or an F-22. I get them mixed up, but I believe this is a Raptor. That's the bottom side. And one of the reasons it's kind of a stealth airplane. Now this is I think this is our top of the line fighter now, and all the bomb bays and stuff are so tightly fitted that you can't see them, and that helps them be off the radar. That way they don't show up on radar. So there are missiles and bombs loaded inside this thing. This is also the airplane that the jet nozzles move, so that when he's flying, he can almost literally make a 90-degree turn. Absolutely unbelievable. Here's another picture of it. I love when they go hit that just perfect humidity and speed where all this condensation forms on the leading edges. But that's the top side of that same airplane. And of course, they had a few F-16s up there. This is one of the Thunderbirds airplanes. I don't think the Thunderbirds are performing this year, but they had an airplane up there. Instead of the Thunderbirds or the Blue Angels, they've got some other groups, including the British Royal Air Force I don't think they call it an Air Force. The British Royal Red Arrows, which had never performed in the United States before. I don't think, but this was the first time they'd ever been at Oshkosh, and I watched them perform last night. They did one heck of a show. Really good. They'll be on again tonight if you watch if you watch the presentation. Let me see if I had a couple more. Here's a good picture of that F-16 fighting. I believe they call that a fighting Falcon. I believe F-16s are called Falcons is their common name. Here's another picture of one of the DC-3s, and they've also got a group there this year that is a reenactment group that is I guess you could say keeping the history of the United States airborne groups alive, and they do authentic jumps out of these airplanes, military style static line jumping with full gear from 1940s. The packs, the bags, everything they carry down, and they're jumping with round parachutes of the kind that the airborne used back in the 40s. You can't steer them nearly as well as the new wing-shaped ram air parachutes that guys use today, but you can do some things with them. To hear the announcer talk, you can't do anything with them. You're mercy of the wind. It's not entirely true. I can tell by looking at them that they've been modified. I knew guys that used to jump those kind of chutes, and I knew one guy that had modified some, so I kind of know what to look for. And so they're modified, but they're still the same basic chute. They're nowhere near as maneuverable as new stuff is. This is the entranceway or gateway to the show. International Aircraft Association, International Experimental Aircraft Association, the EAA Flyin convention. So, Mark, imagine that is antlers instead of that. I can't remember who is it out your way that's got a gate of antlers where you walk through to get in. Is that at Jackson Hole or is that at Cheyenne? Or maybe there's lots of them. I don't know.
It's in Jackson, of course.
Of course. Well, I just know I've seen pictures of it.
Yeah.
This was a neat airplane that's been restored. Also, this is a DC-6.
It's a motorcycle.
This is basically the last reciprocating engine airliner before the jets took over. This was built by Douglas, which is actually part of pretty much all part of Boeing now. But I thought it was kind of cool. It's a good picture because this guy on the scooter, which is a little Honda Ruckus, what he's doing is going down here to meet either this airplane or another one, and they'll follow him into park. So this guy's would have a sign on his back. Some of them do, at least I've seen them. I don't know if he does. That says "Follow me," and that's what they do. The tower will say follow the guy on the such and such scooter or cart or whatever they use. 4-wheelers, they use scooters, they use golf carts. This is a busy little airport for a week. I was listening to them yesterday, and it had been kind of slow up until Thursday. It started getting real busy, and I was listening to them a little bit yesterday as around noon before we left and did our errands. And man, those guys were talking fast. The air traffic controllers were really busy. And I thought this was I don't know, I've got a couple pictures. I'm not sure which one's the best. We'll look at all of them just in case. This is a Southwest Airlines 737 of some Boeing, of some model number. I don't know what model. And it's painted up this year in 1776 colors. And they did part of the air show with that, or the night fireworks show, I mean. And I thought these pictures were really cool. I've got a couple. They're kind of the same, but just slightly different. But I thought, man, I thought that was a neat looking airplane. They went to a great expense to have that painted like that. I don't know if I've got anything else on my. Oh, I had one more helicopter, an attack helicopter. I don't know if they call those Apaches. I think that's an Apache. And that might be about it for now. So anyway, I highly recommend, if you're at all interested in aviation, that you look up EAA.org. The EAA has a YouTube page also, and a lot of stuff is posted there, but some of it is you have to access through the EAA homepage. And sorry about having that puzzle thing in the way. AH-64, is that what it is? Okay, it's an Apache. Okay, I thought it was. Anyway, I'm looking back through my notes here My grandpa Nichols was in the 101st Airborne. It was one of many who parachuted into Normandy the night before. Oh my God, Chris. Is he still alive by chance? I'm not trying to be crude. I'd love to talk to him if he ever talks about it. I've always wondered to jump into hostile territory in the pitch dark, knowing they were going to be shooting up at you and you didn't know where you were going to land. And those guys had cojones the size of a basketball court. I mean, I cannot imagine. He passed away 12 years ago. The scenes from the Band of Brothers where they're jumping out at D-Day just always felt so real to me, and so I thought, man, how difficult that must have been. When I see that kind of stuff, I do think then they really were the greatest generation, I think. Anyhow, I'll stop with that. Go to their webpage. I'll put this in here down here. That should come up as a link, or you can make it a link. Oh, maybe I didn't. Maybe I need to do that. And you can see if you're interested, or if you just don't have anything better to do today, and you'll see. Because what I didn't show on there, and what's the coolest thing about the EAA actually, is not the stuff I showed. It's all the cool home built airplanes that have been designed by people in their garages and their own um, their own hangars at their own airports or their local airports, and they are rebuilding. I've lost my where'd I go? Here I am. Oh, I didn't get it. I've never been lost, but I've been confused bewildered for a day or two. So that should be a good link. That last one I put in there, that should work, and that'll take you to their site. And I don't know, look around. But the cool, like I said, the really cool stuff are the home builts and the small airplanes, and it is amazing some of the things that have been built by just common people, um, just everyday. What's the term I'm looking for? Craftsmen that maybe built wooden canoes, and yet they took that knowledge and then say, I could probably build a really cool airplane if I did this or I did that, and they do, and they get them certified and they fly them around the country, and if they're really cool and somebody else wants to buy it, they do so, and then they start building them, and next thing you know, they're all over East Tennessee. I'm trying to. I wanted to get their homepage on YouTube. Put that link in here also. And if you go to this one right now, and I'll see if I can open it here in a second.
Brother, I'm taking off.
All right, I figured you're about ready to go. I will probably talk to you between now and then, but I will see you 1 week from today.
Yes, sir. Can't wait.
We'll be there with bells on. So
Nico's gonna just have to miss out, or he can bring his boy.
Or he can bring the boys. Yeah, your choice, Nico.
good birthday gift.
Well, you
be a pack mule.
Yeah. Well, you have a good time at the Oyster Festival.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right.
See you, everybody.
See ya. Be safe out there. I don't know if we mentioned it. Maybe we did mention it a little bit. The Oyster Festival is a big deal there in Kimmer. So, and it's grown into pretty good sized bluegrass. Well, the music had changed. They're going to have more bluegrass this year. It's kind of back to its roots. They've kind of gotten off into a lot more modern music, contemporary, and so they're trying to get more bluegrass bands to back in, and I've got quite a bit of entertainment for the day. So, guys, I have sat through here, and while it's still very bright red, my leg doesn't hurt quite as bad as it did. So I'll sit here and bemoan my stupidity and my awkwardness, and because I knocked the cup off. I did it. I can't blame anybody but myself. I was turning to hand Brenda something. I was like, I wonder if Brenda could do this. And instead, made a big mess. Chris, thanks for coming by, buddy. Oh yeah, I'll see you next Saturday morning, bright and early, as far as I know, or maybe not bright, but early. I'll see you then. So, guys, this is the last show for 3 weeks. Won't be here next Saturday. I'll be on the road. And I won't be here the last Saturday because we'll still be in Wyoming. Unless unless for some reason I am someplace where I can sit down and just do this, but I doubt it. I doubt that that'll happen. I think we'll be pretty busy. So to be clear, no show next week, no show next week, and no show the following week. So there will be no show. I'm trying to pull up my calendar here. There will be no show for the 1st of August, and there will be no show for the 8th of August. The next Saturday morning shine will be August 15th. And since I'll still be back and probably recovering, I don't know what that show will be about. Hopefully it'll be about the trip. I don't know that I'll have all the editing done for the video because I'm going out there. You guys don't see it, but I've got 2 GoPros now and an Olympus camera. I have gathered up mounts for the guys to wear fishing. I've got mounts to put on tripods. I've got mounts I'm going to shoot a lot of video. So we will see what comes out of that. I'm not really going to fish. I'm going to do something I wanted to do when I started this, and that is do more videography and actually get out and do some things that I can show on my show or post as blogs or vlogs rather, and we'll see what comes of that. If I do anything from out there, it might be, and I thought about this before, and I don't know, and it just hit me again. We might try to come on one evening during the week. If I do, I'll let everybody know what night. While we're sitting around, maybe reminiscing about what we have or have not done, what may have been successful, what may not be successful, whether we've caught fish or not. We may do that one night if the guys feel like it. I can't promise that, but that's a possibility. Because I'd like to set a couple of cameras up, and do that. We'll see. Yeah, I think it'd be cool too, Nico. That's something I was thinking about doing, but I haven't. At this point, I'm playing it by ear just to see. But I think I could do that. I think I could make that happen. So we'll see. Oh, okay, Chris. I'm going to look at that. I haven't opened that up yet, but I'm anxious to see it because I tell you that microscope camera that Chris had last week at Dave's house was just unbelievable. Let me see if I can find it, Chris. There it is. Oh, wow. Okay, guys, I'm going to show you this. Hang on a minute. If you guys want to bear with me just a moment. Chris sent me this, and this is with the same camera that we used last week to do the Fly Time show with Dave. Look at that. I can't, Chris, I'm just so impressed with that little camera. I mean, it's not really a camera, it's a microscope. But that is so sharp and clear. Now that is a number 20 hook, I believe you said, and a number 20 hook is, Chris, how would you describe a number 20 hook? I mean, is it as big as a match head? I mean, they're little. We're talking pretty small, very tiny hook. It's much smaller than what they were tying on last week. I don't know. Let me see if I can compare anything. number 20 hook is very small, roughly 10 to 12 millimeters. So about 3/8 of an inch at total length, and has a gap of less than 2 millimeters, which is teeny tiny. I don't know if there's a comparison. I've got a chart here that shows hooks against hooks, but that doesn't really, and they are laying by a scale, but I'd really like to have one laying there with something beside it. I bet. Let me see if I can find something. Yeah, I'm not finding anything real quick here. I tried to put it in here compared to a coin, but as a reference, but most of them they're showing are bigger. They're not the right size. Yeah, about the size of a gnat, Chris says, and that is accurate. That's how small that is. In fact, that's kind of what that's representing. I don't know what that fly is called, but that's what it's representing. A teeny tiny insect that, as Dave put it last week, has accidentally landed in the water or is trying to emerge from the water after it's left its pupa stage. But that's a little bitty. That's great, Chris. Man, that is so clear. I've got that on my Christmas list, by the way. I'm gonna have one of those cameras before it's over with. That I was just absolutely amazed by that. It's an emerger pattern. So this is, a little bit tiny insect, or the pupa of an insect is changing, molting over, and becoming its insectual self, and it gets to the surface of the water, and it somehow breaks the surface tension and leaves if a fish don't eat it first, which is the whole idea of this lure. Let me close that up. And how do I? Oh, did I cut? There I am. Did I cut us off? Okay. Anyway, that's it, guys. That's it for me, and that's it for, like I said, a couple weeks. So I will, if I can post something, I will. If I can't do a live show, maybe what I'll try to do is, set everybody down and around maybe a real campfire. I started to say a campfire. Maybe will be a campfire or a fire pit, or I don't know. The house Dave and Shannon may have a fire pit on the back porch. If it does, we'll build a fire and sit around there. So hey, thanks, Chris. See you next time. See you when we get back. Well, I'll see you Saturday, actually. So guys, everybody, I don't know what you got planned for the rest of this week or next or the week after, but I'm sure we'll have a good time. We'll be safe as we can be. Watching out for grizzly bears and rattlesnakes and just the things you might see out there. But yeah, Brenda's going to have full control of everything. Anyway, thanks for being here. I appreciate, love you guys for making it in and your loyalty to the show. Hit that like button before you leave if you hadn't. And we'll see you again in about 3 weeks. So, look out maybe for some updates. If I have an update, I'll put it on. And if we catch some fish, I'll try to post pictures of fish on Instagram or Facebook or both. I don't know. We'll see. And Nico, tell your son or the birthday boy or whoever that happens to be, happy birthday for us. And guys, Be safe. Have a great weekend. See you soon. I would say if the creek don't rise, but we're going to be in the creek, so I don't think that counts. Anyway, bye bye.